When you are in survival mode, managing everything, when you are the one everyone depends on, there is a strange comfort in that. And it's not because it feels good, because we clearly know it doesn't feel good. It's just because it's familiar. That sense of familiarity, because the truth of the matter is, if you're the one who is always having it together, who manages everything, the alpha, you can't also be the one who admits that she's drowning and that something needs to change. Who am I when I'm not the one managing everything? Who am I if I stop equating exhaustion to being devoted to my family? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Iman's Corner. Last week, we talked about how mothers are feeling the weight of their parenting more than ever these days. Some of you sent me DMs and emails telling me you feel so seen and you resonated with what I've said. And if that's you, I want to continue that conversation. I want to talk about the woman waiting on making the changes that she knows she needs to make in her life, and more specifically in her parenting life. The mother who is tired of feeling exhausted, isolated, overwhelmed, burnt out all the time. And she's like, enough is enough. I need to make changes in my life. But there's a but, right? There's some sort of a but. Either I don't have the right support or I need to learn more. This kind of mom probably has an absurd amount of courses in her dashboard or her email inbox. She's the type of mom who's reading parenting books, following the experts on social media. So she is definitely so well informed, so well educated, so thoughtful, so capable. But there's a version of her that still keeps her stuck where she is. Sometimes that thing that keeps her stuck is recognizing that not every solution is a good solution or is a solution that works for her, and that every path she takes usually has a cost. This mom is in survival mode, right? She is carrying the weight of the entire family, making the decisions, but she feels like she can never let go of the survival mode version of her. Most of the time, when a mom has the realization that, okay, something needs to shift in my life, I need to get out of the survival mode, we think the issue that takes time is the decision-making, deciding on what to do or deciding on what matters. And we assume that once I have clarity and I found the right solution, once I know my priorities, everything will fall into place. I'm guilty of it. And I'm here to tell you that is not how it works. We usually know what needs to change, but what's difficult is letting go of the life you built around the version of you that was surviving. When you are in survival mode, managing everything, when you are the one everyone depends on, there is a strange comfort in that. And it's not because it feels good, because we clearly know it doesn't feel good. It's just because it's familiar. That sense of familiarity gives you safety, because your brain and body only knows the data you give it. And because you've given it data that says survival mode works, it's always going to prefer survival mode, even though it's not good for you, because your brain and body understand that when something is familiar, it's most likely safe. And you know what their job is? Their job is to keep you safe. That's it. So when you start telling yourself there has to be a different way, or someone comes along and says, you know what, it doesn't have to be that way, what they're really saying is that the identity you built around this doesn't have to exist any longer. And that feels more threatening than feeling burnt out, tired, overwhelmed, and exhausted. There's a version of you that gives you a sense of safety and control. Letting go of that version is too scary. And that's the space where I find many capable moms. So the way this shows up, is it in a form of, oh, I need to release an identity? It might show up in hesitation to walk towards the life you know you can build for yourself. That hesitation is given many names. Things like, well, I just need more time to figure out the changes that I really need to make, or I need to learn more so that I can feel more confident to be able to make those changes. And this is what keeps them in that waiting mode. But in my experience, that's not the issue. That hesitation and waiting game is an identity issue. When you spent so many years in your motherhood journey being a certain way and living a certain way, you start to see yourself in a certain way as well. And that version of you you're so familiar with kept you alive and kept the family thriving. But that's the same identity that's keeping you burnt out, overwhelmed, and isolated. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're the one who is always having it together, who manages everything, the alpha, you can't also be the one who admits that she's drowning and that something needs to change. If you're the one who's constantly finding solutions, you can't be the one who asks for help, right? And so even when a change feels right to you, or a direction feels right to you, and even when you need support, there's a quiet voice that says, but what if I can't keep this up? What if this is one more thing I have to manage again? What if I fail at this too? And if that's you, and it feels familiar, I want to let you know your issue isn't commitment to change. The issue is fear of releasing a part of you. Because if you release that version of you, there's a sense of self-actualization you have to go through, of really asking, who am I when I'm not in survival mode? Who am I when I'm not the one managing everything? Who am I if I stop equating exhaustion to being devoted to my family? So you wait and you hesitate and you continuously feel stuck, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you're indecisive. It's because you can't afford to get it wrong. When you have a real responsibility, every decision has a ripple effect on everybody who depends on you. Every choice, every direction has weight. So when you are considering a new life, a new way, a new change, you're not just thinking, will this help me? You're also thinking, what if this takes time away from my family? What if I invest in this direction and it doesn't deliver? What if I'm disappointed again? Or what if I stay the same? These are questions that are not necessarily completely fear-based, but these are questions that are coming from a woman who understands what's at stake. Do you know what happens? After the hesitation and the waiting, doing nothing feels safer than doing the wrong thing. At least with nothing, you know what you're getting. You know this version of you so well, the exhausted, overwhelmed, and isolated version of you. It's so familiar, and you know how to navigate and you know how to manage it. But a new choice, a new direction, a new change, a new way of parenting feels uncertain, and uncertainty is risky, and the days keep passing. What we don't realize is the early years is not stagnant. It's moving so fast. By the time your child is 12, you have lost the majority of the influence and the impact you have on that child. So I'm here to remind you, if you are in the early years phase, something needs to change quickly. You don't have a lot of time. And I'm not saying that to pressure you, it's to show you the reality. The solution is to come back to your purpose, your origin story, the reason why you were sent on planet Earth, the purpose of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and submitting to him alone. And submission requires release. It requires us to trust that we don't have to manage it all, that we don't have to have all the answers, that leadership doesn't mean control, just clarity in knowing what you're supposed to be doing. But sometimes clarity can make you vulnerable, because when you're clear about what matters, you can no longer hide behind your busyness in motherhood. You have to make choices, and choices reveal who you truly are. And that's why they feel scary. And so we wait and defer because we're afraid we're going to lose control through surrendering and submission. And again, this is an illusion, because nothing is really under your control. It's under the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we're afraid that if we stop managing the optics, everything will fall apart. And I'm going to be honest with you, maybe things will fall apart, but also maybe the things that are going to fall apart are things that never mattered in the first place. And that was my experience. So I want to leave you with this. What's meant to carry you is clarity, anchored in the guidance of Islam. And you'll only consume the benefits once you learn to let go of the version of you that's holding on. It'll only come once you surrender. And it will definitely not come by consuming more, reading more. It'll actually happen once you tune out the noise, offload from your plate, and return to your inner self, and you make room for your inner voice. I hope this video helped you gain some clarity, inshallah. As always, consider subscribing. And if this is something that resonated with you and you think a fellow friend can also benefit from it, please do share it. I'd really appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.